Hi and welcome. This is Vector Paint Studio. Let's start by painting into the layer panel. I modify the brush size by holding down the Control key on Windows or the Command key on Mac. 1, 2 and 3. Then I open the paint effect, I select the strokes and I add them to a new group. I name it 1, 2, 3. This group let me unselect or select the strokes all at once. And when I double click on it, it let me hide or show the strokes. The trash tool let me choose to remove the group in the list without removing the strokes. Let's undo. Well, the undo can't refresh the layer group. In order to do that, I need to click on the Update button. Here it is again. If I choose to remove all, it will delete the strokes too. OK, undo and update. Remember, you also need to update each time you select a different layer with a paint effect applied. The group can also be renamed. Here, well, I need to select the group, of course. So change it to numbers. This is the group management section. Of course, you can create as many groups as you want. I can simplify the paths of the selected group strokes here. They are converted to masks. I can change the mask's color. Let's make them yellow. This modifier reduces the number of points by getting 1 every 15 in this case. As you see, it removed a lot of points, and I can remove the very close points based on the distance in pixels, let's say 20. I can also set or unset the curves. Now it's very easy to edit the mask's paths to make them stylish. When I'm done, I just close the window and the masks are converted back to strokes. Of course, I can modify the paths as many times as I want. This tool lets me edit the strokes in a group all at once. I can edit and animate different options. Let's start from the strokes classic options. I can set the opacity, spacing, hardness, diameter, and then the start, and of course the end, which I'm going to animate. From 0 to 100. The strokes are animated all at the same time. But here I can set to draw them sequentially like the stroke effect. As you see, it starts drawing number 3 first and stop at number 1. Well, I can invert the strokes order. So from 4 to 1. And now it inverts the strokes drawing order. I can also randomize the strokes order. So 3, 2, 4, 3. Undo. I can modify the color of the group. And I can also randomize the color. I'm gonna set it red. There is also the time control. Now the strokes lasts all the comp time. Set the single option will make the strokes just 1 frame each, which can be useful for some kind of very fast animation. The in-out option make them get the work area time as a reference. The constant option set their time the same as the comp duration. Now let's talk about the mix separated option. By default, when the first stroke is drawn, the second start, and so on. Let's set the mix to 50%. Now, when the first stroke path is at 50% of its animation time, the second path starts drawing. Here again, the second at 50%, the third start. So the result is that all the animations are 50% blended. Let's raise to 100%. more blended. And finally, there is the control null, which also controls the group transformations. I'm gonna set a very simple animation. Something like that. Well, when I close the edit panel, all the edited options are set. If I edit the group again, all the values and keys are still here, so the edit is non-destructive. This is a simple example of underwriting. It's very easy to achieve with the paint effect. Let's do it. First, I duplicate the layer and pre-comp. Then I paint over hello like if I'm writing. Let's get back to the comp panel. Add the strokes to a new hello group and edit. As you see, there is too much spacing, so I reduce it. Randomize color to identify each stroke and animate the end value. If the scrolling is laggy, make sure to close the paint effect. It won't show all the keyframes and it will get smooth. Then stroke sequentially. And well, the animation starts from the end, so invert the order as before. Okay, good. Let's open the paths editor and set painted layer as alpha of the hello. It looks like it's not working. In order to do that, I have to set the effect to paint on transparent. Handwriting may cause bad intersections, just like in this case. I'm gonna fix them in a blink. Let's change the mask's color to blue. Better, move a couple of points. Like that. Now the intersection is on the right. The intersection on the E. And the final O. Now the animation works fine. The last tool is the tracker, which uses retrack engine. I will use it to paint this moving face. First, I have to track the face with the face tracker. Forward and backward. I disable the mask. I lower the brush opacity and hardness. And let's paint. Of course, I will adjust the paint later. Okay, I make new face group. And because there are lots of strokes, better to simplify them. 3 should be fine. Better close the effect, it's tracking time. So, group selected. Also select the face tracking effect and the tracked mask too. Click on the track tool and all the tracked data are loaded as points, as you can see. I can change the point's color and size. Now I need to select at least one tracked point, and when I click on track, the tracked data is applied to the strokes. Well, they stick to the selected point, but just its position. If I select 2 points, the engine is also able to calculate the rotation and the scale. So, track again. Well, a lot better. If all the points are unselected, the track engine will use all of them. To be clear, it uses at least the 3 tracked points closest to each stroke path point. So the result here is very consistent. To move the tracking from the strokes, just click on the Reset button here. Undo. To make the effect looks better, let's open the Edit panel. Random colors. Lower the opacity a bit. Okay, I think I'm done. An example of what you can do with face is Puppet. I have already tracked a face with the face tracker. Then I painted the eyes, nose and lips, tracked the strokes. I filled face tracker mask, and done. Here I already tracked the dancers' heads with 2 masks. Let's paint over their heads. Better reduce the brush diameter. And what about the color? Okay, something cooler. And now draw the streaks paths and add them to the lights group. Simplify the strokes. I don't like the way the left path ends. Oops, I need to switch to the selection tool first. So again, group selected, tracked masks selected, and track. Make the points bigger. Here they are. We need just the heads positions, so 1 point each is enough. Track. And it works well. Close the panel and open the Edit one to set the animation. Let's adjust the strokes a bit and animate the end parameter. Well, in this case, we also want to animate the start parameter so that it looks like the streaks follow a longer path. We'll try new colors. Okay, good. Now I have to separate the paint from the dancers, so I duplicate the layer, lights. Then I select the original layer, so I have to update, and I remove all, or undo, and I can simply hide the paint effect. So, as you see, on the dancers layer, there are no streaks. Instead, to remove the dancers from the lights layer, I need to set the paint on transparent. So, now they are separated, and I can finally add a glow effect, and it won't affect the dancers. Duplicate it, better. Let's switch the color mode to lighten. And here they are, the light streaks. Now move here, where the dancer's feet touch the floor, and paint more streaks. add to a new group, lights 2, modify the paths because I don't want them to be curved, animate the start and the end as before, randomize the colors, lower the diameter, and now again duplicate the layer, name it lights 2, hide the paint on the dancers layer, and set the paint on transparent on the streaks 2 layer. Then add the glow, duplicate, set the color mode to lighten, and enjoy all the lights. Here I have already drawn an arrow and added it to a group. I would like the arrow to stick to the ground. To get the job done, I'll use a 3D camera tracking. After the analysis, I'm gonna choose some tracks where I want to place the arrow. Right mouse click and I create the solid sand camera. I can now remove the camera tracker effect. Well, the tracking is pretty solid. Okay, let's select the drone footage. Be sure the arrow group is selected. Then select camera and the 3D solids and open the tracking panel. Scale the tracks a bit and track. So, no selection, again, means all the tracks are used. As you see, the tracking is not perfect. So let's try to select the minimum number of tracks needed for a perspective tracking, which is 3. Better, I will try to add a 4th track, just to make sure all the arrow lines are covered by 3 tracks. Now it works. I'm ready to animate the arrow. Lower the spacing, always good practice, and animate the end. I'll set a loop animation, so the last key must hold on. Copy and paste, and then hit start again. Oh yeah, sequentially, of course. And done. Sometimes, when despite the paint tool is selected and the layer panel is active, the brushes panel is disabled. I don't know why, but to enable it, just press Ctrl B on Windows or Command B on Mac. If a tablet is used, the brush pressure can be enabled, so the tablet makes it possible to emulate ink and real painting. Oh, sorry, I didn't update. Well, I add strokes to a new group. Now, when I access one of the script tools, look what happens. The reason is scripting language cannot access all the paint properties data, so when it converts the paths to masks and then it converts back to paths, that custom data gets lost and the diameter is constant. I already created a 1-2 group. To add the new stroke to the group, first I have to unselect the brushes, then I paint the new stroke, 3, I select it, and if the group is selected, the script assumes I'm adding stroke 3 to the group. If I hide the group, as you see, all 3 numbers are hidden. Now let's undo. Hide again to make sure number 3 is not part of the group anymore. OK. If I unselect the group and I select just number 3 stroke, the script assumes I want to add the stroke 3 to a new group, of course. Well, that's all. Enjoy Vector Paint Studio.